Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Hi.
so excited for this kickoff celebration. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. So, welcome everyone to our community conversation today, where it is a kickoff celebration for Black History Month. And I have to say, with anything, you have to prepare yourselves. So, myself, as well as the Educator Innovation Leads, we had a great time learning ourselves because that's what this is all about. So, today we hope to be able to share some information that we learned with you, spark up some conversation, and share even resources and events that we have planned for you to ensure that your celebration with your students for Black History Month is a meaningful and a powerful one that you can take throughout your curriculum 365 days of the year. So we are so excited today that we will be kicking off this celebration. Just note that Black History Month is a chance to reflect, but also to think ahead. It is an effort that really establishes that core value of equality. We want a more equitable and equal world, and that is rooted in respect. And we know that our mission at Flipgrid is for learners to share their voice, but also to respect the diverse voices of others. All right, so before we begin, we just want to acknowledge and recognize that Black History Month is a celebration, as well as a starting point for so many to learn about the accomplishments, as well as achievements and contributions of people of color, and what they have done to really challenge ourselves to think about how we can infuse this learning about diverse cultures throughout our curriculum, because representation is power and it matters. So to start us off, where did Black History Month even come from? Well, what we've learned is that Dr. Carter G. Woodson, he founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History because he truly believed that the recognition and the importance of African Americans were lacking, especially in education. So if you look at this quote, when you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. And we all know that knowledge is power. I love Nelson Mandela's quote as well when it comes to knowledge and power. And so that's why this is so important. Black History Month was originally created by Dr. Woodson in 1926 as Negro History Week. And he's known as the father of Black history. He wanted Black people to, number one, be very proud of their heritage, while also educating other Americans about the contributions of African Americans and what they have done in society, since so many people believe that people who look like me didn't have a place in society. So he chose the second week in February for a specific reason. It's both the birthdays of President Abraham Lincoln, as well as Frederick Douglass, an abolitionist. And it wasn't until we have a little timeline for us to just kind of see, but it wasn't until 50 years later, in the middle of the civil rights movement, that the celebration was made a national observance by President Gerald Ford, long after Woodson's death. And so you see here, President Ford was calling on all Americans to really take this opportunity to learn about those accomplishments that had been often neglected. And so another thing that we learned is that there is a special theme that every president actually shares for Black History Month since that day. So on this timeline, as we already mentioned about Carter G. Woodson and Gerald Ford making Black History Month an official month, we also want to recognize that in 2008, history was made in America when we elected the first Black president, as well as history once again in 2020 when President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris were elected, with Kamala being the first Black Vice President of America. So Black history is something that is continuous. Everyone makes contributions to society, and it's important to recognize those.
Yo, something that I love, like I'm so excited for this conversation to even be happening, because even as we were diving deep and seeing, okay, where did Black History Month even come from? This is stuff that I had no idea. I had never been explained why Black History Month even existed. I just knew that it was something that we did. We did a report on Jackie Robinson every February, and that was it. And so it was so interesting for us to dig deeper and see exactly where it had come from. When we looked at Woodson, I had never heard of that name before. And so it's just something that's so important. If we're going to be teaching our students and empowering them to see these things, we need to know the history behind it. So I love this.
Yeah, Jess, thank you for saying that. I think that's one of the beautiful things about being lifelong learners as educators. That's what we strive to do, right? So as we dug into this content together as an Ed Lead team and sort of had our own conversations, I kept reflecting on my own memories from my schooling experience, hearing the history, having these vague memories, but now as an adult, relearning and looking with a new filter and understanding with a new filter, whether it was history that's been omitted from the books or looking at it with a new lens. So I feel like I'm learning this all over again and leaning into it almost with a completely new perspective, right?
Totally. Yeah,
Yes.
It's like learning this for the first time.
And for many people that come to this country, especially if they did not attend pre-K to 12 school here in the U.S., like me, that I came to the U.S. straight to college, Black History Month is something that we have to learn on our own. So this to me, it was an amazing learning experience and something that we can share with our kids, with our families, and love it.
Absolutely. And so there's so many ways that educators are really just sharing with their students, not only about famous people in history, but also just once again, completing history. So if students can say who Albert Einstein is, why can't they learn about Black inventors as well as they're learning about other inventors, right? And so Tamika Miller, she was sharing that for World Read Aloud Day, which is coming up, that students are recording themselves reading their favorite books using Flipgrid. And one book that she chose for her students to read too was called Carter Reads the Newspaper, which is all about Dr. Carter G. Woodson, the person who created Black History Week, which turned into Black History Month. And so we see the power of literature there. And then BISD Learn Tech, they actually did some research, learned about African American history, and made a beautiful interactive gallery walk. So people that are coming through their school buildings can stop, scan using the Flipgrid app, and learn about the people that they've researched. And so these are rooted in standards. So here are some ISTE standards where students are collaborators as well as creative communicators. We want our students to be able to research who they want to research and be able to present those in very creative ways. In addition to that, I do too. In addition to that, on this next slide, I just want to give a big shout out to Andy Plemons. Now, this first image at the very top is one of the very first versions of Flipgrid. Andy has been using Flipgrid probably since 2012, whenever he found it. But this image comes from 2015. And what Andy does at his school is he has the Barrow Peace Prize. It's a collaborative effort for students to be able to research African Americans in history and be able to present their findings so that others can vote on who would be the best candidate to go on the next postage stamp. And so the students collaborate, they work on their speeches together, they present, and then they really rally a global network. They send out a form so that everyone else can view their projects on Flipgrid and vote. And our team has even gone out to celebrate with the students or have celebrated with the students virtually with Flipgrid. So Andy, thank you for your inspiration. And if you want to know more about the project, join us for another community conversation on January 18th, where we'll learn more from Andy.
It's always been one of my favorite things to celebrate. I feel like I've learned so much from Andy's students, and it's just, oh, the Bear Peace Prize is an unbelievable project.
And Jennifer here learns an amazing opportunity to collaborate with our kids. And she is asking a question, and most importantly, asking her students' opinion. She wants her students to share their ideas. And after that, with this, they're using Flipgrid, and they're also using social media. So they're combining all of this with what is relevant to our kids, right? But most importantly, their ideas. What is it? Their point of views, their perspectives, and of course, respecting that. And Nikki right here is already lesson planning, including Black History Month as part of her lesson plan, which is totally awesome too, because when we include all of these conversations in this classroom, when we as teachers include all of this, that's when the magic happens. And of course, the teachers are collaborating, and the teachers are designers of the lessons, which is what the ISTE standards tell us here.
Yeah, so I chose a few examples too, and you'll see on the left, again, the magic of student voice coming to life with those augmented reality Flipgrid QR codes. But really, truly, it's giving students, the standard that I chose was the ISTE standard for students about knowledge constructors, and what that means for students to curate examples to demonstrate their knowledge, to dig into that and produce creative artifacts. So on the left, you see they recorded important facts, and even having the opportunity to explore new knowledge or learn new experiences through literature, through firsthand experience is so important. So I loved that example. And then Ashley shared this beautiful example, and I love that it says the history of us, and this interactive gallery, whether you're remote, whether you're face-to-face, the opportunity to learn from somebody else's experience, right? And I think, I've heard Ken Shelton share Dr. Rudine Sims Bishop talk about windows, doors, and mirrors, and having the opportunity to, it's kind of like walking a mile in somebody else's shoes to gain understanding, awareness, insight, empathy. And so that interactive gallery piece is so beautiful. But I love that this standard speaks to the opportunity for students to build knowledge. I mean, you see it right there on the screen, actively exploring real world issues and problems and developing their own ideas and theories, pursuing answers and solutions to that. So not only for our students, but I mean, I can speak to myself, my ongoing learning. And for example, this tweet from Equal Justice Initiative, I'm so proud that inside the Flipgrid library, there are so many Discovery Library topics to fuel my own professional learning. Educators can use them for themselves, use them in professional learning networks, communities, your grade level teams, your departments, and with your students as well. So we're going to be digging into the Discovery Library in just a little bit, but this is an example from EJI talking about, they have these collections, whether it's talking about lynching in America or Reconstruction in America, and what does that mean? There are so many resources for you to use right away from incredible educators and featured partners like Equal Justice Initiative.
Totally. And one of the other incredible partners that we have is Langston League, and we announced them in August of this past year. And their whole mission, they teach teachers or teach educators how to create culturally responsive curriculum. And they have this incredible series called Decolonize, which is to help students closely examine Black history and learn things that they may not have learned otherwise. I know we had the opportunity to take a session with Erica Buddington, and I was like blown away by, first of all, how much I don't know and how much I still have to learn. And so this is technically a middle school curriculum, but I think that it is for everyone. I'm 34, and I was watching these videos and learning so much that I wasn't taught in school. And it's just such an honor to have them as a partner in the Discovery Library. But we have all sorts of collections as well. And I know Jornea is going to speak a little bit to that.
Yes, absolutely. So we just launched our Celebrating Black History Month collection. So what you'll see if you go into the Flipgrid Discovery Library is that this collection will be inside of the featured collections under your Discovery tab. So Jess is going to go there really quickly so that we can see where that's found. And Fely's going to take us through how do you really find those topics and add them to your class discussions. So we're on Discovery and we're going to scroll all the way down. And here's our featured collections and that beautiful image right there. And when you click inside, guess what, teachers? Lots of goodies, lots of activities that's already created for you by other educators and our incredible partners.
So once you look at all the topics that we have available here for you and you decide, again, we go back to our lesson planning and you decide which one is the best for your students, right? Because you know your kids, you are the expert. You select one.
Let's do, I want to make it a good one. Reconstruction in America.
So right here on the left-hand side, we have the description of the activity, of everything, how our students are going to get connected to this amazing prompt, this amazing question. And on the right-hand side, we have all the info that we as educators need. So if this is the beautiful one, this is the one that you're going to use with your students, with your babies, with your families, with everybody on Flipgrid, all you got to do, you have two options. Super easy. If you're lesson planning, you can, let's say that we're going to talk about this next week, right? And we're lesson planning already for next week. What you can do is save it to your collection. So if you click right there, you can add it to already collections that you already have, or you can create a new collection depending on what you are going to talk about next week. So that's the first one. Again, if we're lesson planning. But if you're like, Fely, I want to do this, ya, está padrísimo. I want to use it with my students right now because it's the best topic ever. All you gotta do is click on Add Topic and then select the group you want to share it to. Next, go to My Topics. And there it is. It's already there.
And what's cool too, whenever you go ahead and you add it to your group, you can either add it as a separate topic, as a standalone, or put it into your group, but then you can go in and make any changes necessary. So it's ready to go as is, but maybe you looked at it and you're like, oh, you know, I love this, except I only want it to be 1 minute of a time frame, or just little changes. You can go in and edit it, and this is your own. It's not changing anything in the Discovery Library. This is now your topic, and you can set it to your needs.
Absolutely. And we encourage you to even make your own collections. So we do have our Celebrating Black History Month collection, but you can start creating your own collections for your students over time. So if you do want to group your collections, maybe about history in America, maybe it is about maybe famous inventors or maybe artists, or think about the different areas that you teach. I know our friend Delanier, he said, be a anti-racist in whatever you have a passion in. So if you are a math teacher, think about all the mathematicians that you can bring to your classroom, or even just put it on your students to go out and find. Let them research, let them tell you. I think that's a beautiful way for everyone to be able to learn.
Totally. I just saw Ramesh just said it would be so great to build a topic about Black STEM history and then Black STEM futures. I love that. So you could even do more than just a topic. You could do an entire collection about that, right? Because there's so much there. There's so much more that we have to learn. So I empower you, Ramesh, go ahead. And I want you to create a topic about this.
Indeed. Great. You just said there's so much to learn. I just want to, Jess, if you scroll up to all the Discovery Library partners and share, view all of them, I just want to give a shout out, not only to every educator who's contributing to the Discovery Library, but incredible partners like ADL Education, Equal Justice Initiative, the Langston League, Sharing Decolonize. There are so many ready to use topics. One of the things I love to say is working smarter, not harder, right? And every click matters. So this is prepared, curated, ready to use content that you have access to and you can use. You can edit as needed or use it as they all create it. So tons and tons of possibilities for you to continue your own learning or provide a safe space for your students to dig into an idea, a concept, a dialogue or discussion together too.
And Jess, since you're right there, click on the ESL library. They're one of our newest partners. And as you can see, they are adding topics every day. These are some topics that were added just yesterday that go right along with Black History Month. So if you're looking for something to support your students, whether your students are English language learners or not, these are incredible topics that anyone can really use and learn from. And as Jess mentioned, you can always edit these topics to meet your needs.
And you're teaching history, you're including your kids, and they're acquiring the language. It's like perfect.
Yeah, totally is. All right, I'm gonna hop back in because I want to share some cool things going on too. Whoops, I did it on the wrong page, y'all. There we go. Oh no, there we don't go. It's sharing on the wrong screen.
Last time, Jess, don't worry, I couldn't see which screen I was sharing. So, yeah, friends, as you're listening in and she's getting this shared, we have some really great upcoming events. And I know she's going to pop the screen in just a moment, but upcoming events.
I'm going to just zoom in like that. There we go.
Perfect.
Bear with me here, folks.
Take it away. Take it away.
Yeah, so we have some incredible events that are popping up that are coming soon. So if you go to aka.ms/Flipgrid events, you will see all of the list of things that we have. We have both professional development, but also our virtual field trips that occur. And so with our professional development, you'll see we've got something happening every single week. So whether that be a special edition professional development, getting started with Flipgrid, coaches, we've got the Empezado con Flipgrid, completely solamente en español, that happens every single week. So you can feel free to go in and join. You can also go to aka.ms/FlipGridPD and you'll find the dates of those as well. But something that I am so excited about is our live events. Again, that you'll see that URL down at the bottom, but we have our virtual field trips and you'll see here we have some incredible ones that are happening during Black History Month. Y'all, I am so excited. You can see there, we've got the World Read Aloud Day. We've got how to be an anti-racist accomplice. We just, as a team on Flipgrid, just did a book study with Frederick Joseph's book, The Black Friend, and to have him be doing an event is so exciting. You know, we keep talking about we have more to learn as well, right? So, and you'll see All You Need Is a Community with Derek Barnes. So come and check these out. We have such incredible events that are happening, including...
Yeah, so February 23rd, we will have another conversation about race, equity, and justice. And our theme this time is really centered around teaching Black history in culturally responsive ways, 365 days of the year, right? And so, as Ann mentioned, with Langston League, they have lots of incredible resources that go back and teach the history. So, you know, once again, we don't want to erase anything from history, but that's what has happened. And so now we have to think about ways that we can infuse it. And so during this session, we have educational thought leaders and educators, Yuritsa Vijalba, Ken Shelton, and Natasha Rachel. And Ken and Natasha actually worked on some really incredible Minecraft lessons that you can find right now in the Flipgrid Discovery Library that will help teach students about the civil rights movement in very creative ways. And then I am so honored to be able to have Keela Dawson on with us. We kind of met Keela a little early on because she's one of the authors of the No Voice Too Small book, but she also has come out with a book that's all about something called a green book. Now, if you don't know about a green book was created because African Americans could not stop and maybe eat at certain restaurants or sleep at certain hotels. And so Victor decided to create this book so that African Americans would know where are places that will welcome you and allow you to have a space to lay your head when you're traveling, or to eat when you're traveling, or have restrooms available to you, right? And so I'm so glad that she will be on. She's even creating topics so that you can use those topics with your students. That will be launching really soon. So please join us once again, February 23rd, for an incredible conversation.
I am so excited about all of these upcoming events, and it's a chance to continue the learning. Speaking of continuing learning, I'm going to leave before you close it out. I'm heading to another webinar, but I just wanted to say I'm so excited you all joined in. And friends, I'll see you later, but I'm going to leave, okay?
Bye-bye.
And we just want to thank everyone for taking the time to join our conversation today. Hopefully you learned a little bit about Black History Month and the history of Black History Month, as well as some ideas that you can take right into your classroom tomorrow. And to stay connected with us, please just reach out to us on social media using the handle @Flipgrid and the hashtag Flipgrid for all. And before we leave, we just want to say, go out and empower every voice.
We can't wait to see what ideas you all come up with as well. Make sure that you're sharing them. We're so excited to celebrate Black History Month with you all.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for being here with us en cualquier idioma, de cualquier lugar. Muchas gracias.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.